every now and again, we like to deep dive into the innovation that's taking place in a particular country or region. One area that seems to be getting a lot of airtime, especially with our clients, is Israel. So today we are joined by Kobi Bendlak, the CEO of InsurTech Israel. Hello, Kobi.
Hi.
To better understand just what makes the Israeli InsurTech scene so vibrant, Kobi has also kindly brought together a number of entrepreneurs and InsurTech leaders to help showcase the exceptional talent and innovation we're seeing come out of Israel. A very warm welcome to you all.
Thank you. Hi.
Now, if I could ask, could you please make a brief introduction? So maybe your name, your company, and what the business gets up to for those who may not be familiar with you. Kobi, could I start with you?
Yes, of course. So I'm the CEO, InsurTech Israel CEO. InsurTech Israel have 4 pillars: investment, consulting, media, and accelerator program. All that pillars based here in Tel Aviv.
Lovely, thank you. Dan, could you follow that?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So Tunimo is a digital adoption platform, and we serve enterprises both for internal employee training and consumer-facing brands. We're industry agnostic, but we have a lot to do with insurance companies in general, and we have a Tel Aviv office and a New York one, so we work globally.
Lovely, thank you, Dan. Gil?
Yes, my name is Gil Pecht, and I work for Open Legacy. Open Legacy is a digital exposure or a digital transformation platform that allows companies, and again, we are the same. We are basically agnostic to the environment or to the market, but we specialize in BFSI, banking, and insurance companies, where we connect the legacy system, the existing system that exists within the company, into the new world, into the cloud. We are sort of a cloudification platform for existing systems.
Got it, thank you. And Dror, I know your business pretty well by now, but for those who don't, tell me a little bit about Astos.
First of all, Matt, thank you for the invite. My name is Dror Katsav. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Adidot. Adidot is an Israeli startup in the life insurance space, focusing on driving better lifetime value for existing life insurance customers. We partner with insurance companies, spar opportunities in the book of business, and then help them engage with the customers to drive more value for the policyholder and a portfolio.
Thank you. Kobi, let's start with you. So Israel has produced so many exciting InsurTechs. So what is it that makes you guys such a hub for innovation? Is it culture, funding, something fundamental about the entrepreneurial ecosystem that is different over there than the rest of the world? Tell me.
There's a lot of reasons for that. First, we are a startup nation. Israel is a startup nation, so the infrastructure for here in Israel to be entrepreneur is better, or is very good. It's easier to be entrepreneur in Israel than other places around the world. So this is the one base of the answer. The second, from my point of view, is that InsurTech is not actually a technology. It's actually a good solution for a problem, and the Israeli know how to solve problems. You know, we live in a very tough neighborhood, so we must know how to solve problems. So based on that, we implement technology. So InsurTech is a solution that solves big problem by implement technology, and this is what makes the InsurTech in Israel very flourishing. Of course, you can add a lot of knowledge, AI knowledge. Insurance is a very logical industry, and AI is a logical technology. So there's a lot of good things in between that. So all that issues is make Israel as one of the InsurTech capital of the world.
Can you go into that infrastructure piece just a little bit deeper?
Sorry, I couldn't hear
you. Can you go into the infrastructure piece?
Yes.
So the startup nation, the infrastructure to create entrepreneurs.
Okay, so first there is the culture. One of the infrastructure is the culture.
Yeah.
The Israeli, there's a joke in Israel that said that the Jewish man wanted in the past years that a daughter or son will be a lawyer or a doctor. Now the Jewish man wants her daughter or son will be an entrepreneur. So this is the culture here in Israel, to be entrepreneurship people. So this is one of the infrastructure. The others coming from the government. The regulation is very support. The government support a lot of startups here in Israel. It's easy to open here a company, easy to raise money, and find a lot of great employees here. All this infrastructure make the life easier here in Israel, but I must say that on top of that, it's very tough. It's not easy at all, but it's make it easier than other places around the world.
Sure. Dan, reflecting on that talk, particularly on the entrepreneurship side, how have you experienced that play out for yourself? So you guys have an office in both New York and Tel Aviv. Have you noticed key differences in the attitudes to innovation across the two hubs, or is there actually a proximity? Is that why we see a lot of Israeli founders also move to the US?
It's a good question. I actually think that both US and Israeli enterprises are considered relatively early adopters. I mean, we have Tunimo has enterprise clients worldwide, but the large majority of our clients are actually in Israel. So one thing that happens to a lot of Israeli startups, because the local market is relatively small, Israeli startups tend out to go global very, very fast because the large markets are not in our local markets. Yeah. In terms of innovation, I think that since the scale and size of, for example, European and US enterprises are significantly bigger than our local ones, I think they also constantly seek new innovations to increase in our field, to increase their conversions or reduce the customer support reduction, which is exactly what we're doing with the digital transformation piece. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, you did. It's really interesting because so my conversation with Dror, we touched on the US sort of versus Israel, or not versus, the connection between the two places. Tell me a little bit more about Tunimo and maybe a bit of a use case in particular, either how you work with sort of the home nation of sort of Israel or maybe clients in the US. Have you got any interesting examples of the work that you're doing?
Yeah, so we have clients across different industries, from pharmaceuticals to financial services and banks and telcos and defense companies, and it's pretty broad. We do both. We work both on the internal employee training side of the business, especially now when everything is remote, but also on the consumer-facing side. So let's say if a company wants to better self-serve their users and give them a better self-service feel, we provide kind of like a true in-store experience with patented step-by-step voice, audio-visual guidance. And we also just released a new patented voice bot. So think about it kind of like a Siri type approach for websites or digital platforms, that the user can actually speak to their device and ask, for example, I want to buy insurance. The machine will answer, which type of insurance are you looking to buy? And then there's a fully conversational buy flow. And from there, we can assist users. So that's in broad what we're doing, both for the internal training side and the consumer facing side.
Fascinating. And since COVID, I assume you've had a lot of interest, right? That sounds like a business that's squarely designed for the new world we enter into.
Yeah, definitely, because as employees are working from home and you still need to onboard and train new employees on top of any existing internal application, whether if it's an HCM, a CRM, an ERP, we can help with that efforts in any change management project that enterprises have internally. And for the digital side, people are unable to go to actual stores and purchase, either purchase or self-serve themselves. And that's exactly what we're doing with our step-by-step solutions on the digital front. So we're kind of like bringing back the human touch to a digital world that the end users are forced to currently be in due to the pandemic.
Super, thank you. And Gil, if I can jump over to you. So you talked about the kind of legacy, but I think also really interesting is the fact that you are not InsurTech. You're industry agnostic. Can you tell me? So doing my reading, doing my homework on the business, and you're talking about the cloudification that you bring to the businesses. Can you tell me a little bit more about the parts of specifically the insurance value chain that you guys are helping clients out with most?
Yeah, so we approach the market, the insurance market, where you have a lot of companies that have been there for ages. I'm not talking about hundreds of years, but I'm also talking about the past 10 and 20 and 30 years. And they have system in place, whether it is for policy issuing or for claims, just as an example. It has been there for ages. They're doing it quite well, most of them. And now they want to move to give more services and to deliver ability to InsurTech companies like to go there. It's very similar to what's happening with the banking, with the fintechs, but it's a little bit lagging behind it, even though it's catching up. The COVID era, as you said, made them catch up, and they're quite, in my view, quite aligned with what's happening in the banking industry. Specifically, they need to do the connectivity into the existing, the new world, offer cloud, offer ability to connect into the new systems or new application that are running there, whether it is on mobile or on web. On the other hand, they do have the legacy systems that they have, hence the name Open Legacy. We're opening up the legacy system where they have the legacy. Everything is built, everything is working, everything is, the back office is working. So why change it? And the fact of the matter is that over the years, companies tend to understand, or the enterprises tend to understand, that to do a rip and replace all those systems will take time, and it's not something that they can do overnight. There are several examples of companies, they try to do it and either stop the project right in the middle because it went too long, over budgeted by far, and so on. And we're enabling to take those assets that they have existing today, their core system, their legacy systems, as we call it, whether it is being built 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even 50 years ago, and use them nowadays and expose them into the cloud, making it cloud friendly and making it relatively very, very easy.
Interesting. And so my team, I was talking about the reading I've been doing on your company. So my team shared it was a new total economic impact study. I think was the title of it. It talked about a 350% ROI that you're delivering to clients, whether that's on average or that was a particular client. Can you walk us through a particular one? Can you walk us through some of the findings of the report, and in particular how you drive that ROI? Is it purely a matter of updating those legacy systems and the efficiencies gained from that, or is it something a little bit more?
Okay, let me explain a little bit more about this study. The study was made on a customer of ours, and they took us, compared us to what they're doing today. What they're doing today is they have layer over layer over layer to create an integration into the existing platform that they have there for the past 35 to 40 years ago, and our way that we are, and the usual way that you used to do it back in the past is you used to buy between 4 to 8 different systems, different applications that ran over it just to do that. You pay it in advance, and our business model, where you pay subscription on consuming base, meaning if you don't have, you can buy it gradually and not jump right into it and buy a large system, paying millions. So this is one pillar that we save a lot of money. And instead of 4 systems, we have only one that approaches directly to the legacy system or the system of record, takes it out and exposes it as a REST API or a microservice, which is the latest and greatest. And it can be deployed whether on-prem. Some of the banks are not yet in the cloud, full cloud, or even into the cloud, into the public cloud. Now, I was speaking about 2 pillars in this study. One of them was the up in advance payment of the cost of ownership of the software. The second one was and the second one is the time to market, which in this study specifically, in this customer, they said we can create a digital service in 4 hours with Open Legacy, whereas the regular way that they're doing it 72 hours for one service. So it's not that much that they lowered it from 72 to 4. That's not the story.
Mm-hmm.
The story is that in 72 hours, they actually can do 18 different digital services. Again, this is the third pillar. And again, the group of people that done it, it's instead of 20 people or 25, with each one is expert in one out of the 4 or 8 systems, depending on the size of the company. It's another one. Two people from our team were able to do it in a fraction of the time and in a fraction of the cost, which makes it 350% lower.
Sure. Okay, thanks for that. Appreciate the explanation. Draw, last but not least, we caught up a matter of weeks ago off the back of your inclusion in the InsurTech 100. So congrats again for that. For those who haven't caught that interview. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, say it again.
And thank you for including us.
Oh, not at all. And thanks for the chat previously, and then coming back for more. I thought it was great. It was great fun last time we caught up. And for those who haven't seen it, can you give us a little bit of an overview of the business, how it stands at the moment, and maybe even if you dare, some of the plans for 2022 for you guys?
Yes, of course. First of all, you asked Kobe about kind of the place of Israel in the InsurTech space, and you see here a good representation, because some of the things don't really have specific geography where they need to come out from. You see here marketing solution, core IT solutions. We have a data solution, and all three of them are in essence things that you can build from anywhere. And all three of them are areas where Israel excelled for years. So here, that's one of the reasons where, insurance become more and more technology driven. The Israeli ecosystem finds a more prominent, piece in that puzzle.
So keep that with that for a minute, and let's. I'm going to save my question and ask it again in a second. So Kobe's explained a couple of reasons for that. In particular, we deep dived around the infrastructure. That encompasses a few different things. What are your views on why across those 3 verticals or those 3 areas Israel is so successful? So what is it about the local market that allows for that?
So as Kobe mentioned, we have an interesting neighborhood, and in this neighborhood, many of us go to certain places in the army and so on and so forth, where you learn how to kind of think creatively about the way solutions are being built and the way you could leverage technology. Many of us, learn in the army some capabilities around data and technology, and we leverage this type of capabilities when we leave the army and go into other industries. And one of the things, one of the ways in which we use this knowledge is that when we started looking for opportunities, after I left the army, we were looking for some of the things that were considered at a time kind of the toughest challenges. And one of those toughest challenges is, how to figure out lifetime value for life insurance, that for years was considered something, not to be touched because it's very hard to do. And I don't know if it's that being naive or, just being entrepreneurial, figuring that thinking that we will be the one to figure this out. With this new technology and data and operations, we decided to tackle that, and we dived into the life insurance space, going jumping directly into the middle of the pool where when you're trying to figure out something that actuaries and insurance companies were doing for years, and we came up with better models. So when pivoting to our other question about what we are about and what we're doing in the last year and going to do this year, some of the things that we're doing is leveraging this data to better understand how policyholders use their policies and how the policy operates over time, and then how to use those insights to better optimize the journey of the customer, how you find opportunities for retention, upsell, and cross-sell, and manage the customer experience, especially when you look at a broader market and you see that about half the policies today, 40 to 50% of the policies today, are in a situation where the agent who sold you the policy is gone. So you as a customer have a complex financial product that you don't know how to operate. The insurance company don't really know how to service. And the agent that was kind of the intermediary moved to do other stuff. And this is really a question of data and scale to do that properly, to come up with those opportunities where we can say, hey, Matt, you bought this policy 12 years ago. This is what happened in the last 12 years. Your life has changed. The policy have changed. The market have changed. Those are your gaps. And there might be opportunities there for upsell, for cross-sell, to change the policy, to retain the policy, to better leverage the policy for other purposes, to make sure it's a better fit to your needs. And from the insurance company perspective, it's a better risk, a better lifetime value for the customer. And one of the things we started doing in the last year post-COVID is not just give the insights to the insurance company, but also be more proactive in reaching out to the customer and driving that engagement back to the insurance company. So it's not just we're saying, Matt has this issue. We're also sending the email, the text message, the phone call to make sure that we are, educated about the issue you have, and figuring out if you're interested to meet the insurance company, and then book them the meeting with the appropriate customer at an appropriate time on the relevant issue. So it's basically just a closing meeting that drives engagement dramatically.
Yeah, love it.
Matt, I want to add something about what Drew said.
Yeah, please do.
That's fun. I assume for a long time that when you start selling a product to insurance company, in the end, what we are looking is a 46-degree solution for them. Not just, okay, bring me good ideas, good solution for that and that. And what Drew said, they are taking the problem and create a flow for the solution to the problem is a great idea. This is what helped Untitled to be so famous around the world.
Yeah,
because they bring a solution tailor-made to the company end to end, and it's very, very important for insurance company, because time to time I'm seeing that the people in the insurance companies, after the entrepreneur or the startups left the meeting room, they said, "Wow, what a wonderful thing! But what we are going to do with that?" So if you bring them. Sorry.
But I think that's true, right? So it's and I'm sure all of you will have been on that same journey where, I don't know, when have you founded? But let's say 5 years ago, we that's when we set up, and it was at the time of these big accelerators where they would excitedly invite the shiniest startup they could possibly find that's doing amazing things, and then they would bring together an audience of incumbents and those startups and try and fit them together with no real sense of purpose. There's no problem that they're trying to solve, or they haven't identified even their own business challenges, let alone opportunity areas. And lo and behold, nothing really happened. And I was on a call this morning where, in 5 years of doing this, it's like, how much has really changed? Because I mean, all of you guys represent fantastic businesses that are truly changing the landscape in still too small a part, because I truly believe the incumbents are only now just waking up to it. And I think as you guys evidence the results that you're able to bring from the case studies, from Tunimo and Open Legacy in terms of the insurance case studies, and that's across all of your clients, I'm sure, that then more and more you're going to see the snowball effect of driving change across your business. But have you, like an open question, but maybe let's get with you, Drew. Have you noticed with your clients that you're now that they are now lining up the conversations, or the conversations have become much more specific about how do you tackle particular problems within their business? Even if it's the upsell, cross-sell piece.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think when we started, InsurTech was a new thing. Insurance companies have done their thing for years, and it was like going to pet the animals at a zoo. Let's see a bunch of cool solutions. Let's see how it looks like.
Yeah,
we might be interested, we might not, but we don't mind looking at the solutions. And I think some of the things that have changed is that you see some of the InsurTechs taking significant market share and becoming, strong players in the market. And this, investment going into the space and so on and so forth. Insurance company executives, they know what they're doing. They're looking, to their sides and say, okay, if that's the wave that is coming, I need to be prepared. And here are some things where I could be better. And a lot of the discussions we have with them is, can we have with this type of solutions a service that is as good as Amazon, as good as the top tier companies, because we need to compete in that market. And 10 years ago, you didn't think about insurance companies as a company that has to be at the state-of-the-art innovation, state-of-the-art technology. They did what they did. You hope not to speak to them ever. And this experience is changing. You see them, more and more active, more and more changing the way they act in order to drive more value for customers. And you see customers expecting significantly different experience, significantly different journey from their insurance companies. So it all kind of drives everybody to a much better industry and creates a bigger opportunity for us.
And Kobe, I assume you're seeing that the same, right? Because you're sitting there beautifully in the middle of the two worlds. And you've got the accelerator program to boot. So tell me how you're seeing it from an incumbent perspective and the kind of the maturity, both of the local market, but also the global market, which I know you're so well connected to. Are you seeing that kind of maturing from the client side as well?
Yes, I'm seeing that. Let's speak about the Israeli insurance market. Mm-hmm. The Israeli insurance market is very small. You'll find there are a lot of clients in the end, but in the end, it's very small. Israel, side to side, is like London, so it's a very small country. The market is not so big, and that's the reason that most of the InsurTech startup here in Israel is looking for clients abroad, especially in Europe and US. And yes, I'm seeing a lot of keen steps forward from insurance company to adopt new innovation and new technology. I'm seeing that coming from the champion in the insurance industry, in insurance companies. Any insurance, any idea, any solution need to find the champion in the insurance company. And when you find it, you find your path to succeed. Of course, there's a lot of things on the road, like regulation and economic and all these stuff issues. But in the end, I'm seeing a great step forward for the insurer around the world to adopt the new technology and innovation. And that is the reason that our ecosystem is flourishing. You see it around you.
Well, I literally see it around me. I can't move on any social media without seeing you, Kobe. So it's omnipresent at the moment.
It's not me. It's a bot. It's not me.
That's equally good. A question to you all, and maybe straight to Dan, if that's all right. So broadly, what can we expect from the Israeli InsurTech landscape in 2022? And I know that's a very big question, so feel free to maybe talk about your business more. But I'm sure more great things will be coming out. So what are your reflections?
Yeah. So I think more and more companies, Israeli companies, and I agree with Dror 100% that a lot of Israeli startups are emerging from ex-military, both intelligence units and other locations from the military. So I think we'll keep seeing innovation coming from Israel in all different verticals, not only insurance, but in terms of 2022 and the next couple of years, there's also very strong government support when it comes to InsurTech and regulated businesses, and which encourages not only InsurTech for the local market, but also InsurTech for the global markets, even more than for the local markets. So so I think we'll be seeing way more on that, and especially with different hubs such as Kobe's, InsurTech Israel, which they're doing a great job. So it really connects all the different InsurTech companies and we can even work on like a mutual kind of like go to market. We already started doing that in some forms created by Kobe. So I think it will be even stronger in the following years to come, because we will be able to offer kind of like a alternated offerings that include several offerings together.
Yeah, love it. Not Kobe at all. Gil, excuse me, I lost track there.
I want to
Gil,
give you
what are your thoughts?
My thought, it's going and getting stronger year after year, and you can feel it. If I don't know, 3 to 4 years ago, it was okay. There is InsurTech, there is a buzz, everybody's talking about it, but at the end of the day, it takes some time. It's now picking up, and in my view, it's picking up. It's picking up in the banking, it's picking up in the insurance, it's picking up in the retail. But specifically, we are here to talk about InsurTech. So yes, it's picking up. Plus, I think, I want to make a connection between everybody's talking about the army and coming from the army. I came from the army also, like everybody else here, many years ago, much more years than the rest of the people here. But there is one thing that we forgot to mention. Kobe mentioned it a little bit, but I want to emphasize it. Israel is very, very small. For a company to succeed and flourish, it's not enough. It's not enough, and this is the reason that we pick up our trolley back then. Now we open up the Zoom, but we do business. We try to do business elsewhere, not because the market is too small. Because what you do here is okay. If I was only, and I started with the company when we started the company. We started here in Israel, and we have 5 of the largest insurance companies, our clients. Okay, what next? It's nothing that can really do it. And of course, the innovation. Without the innovation, nothing would have happened. Thirdly, the third pillar, as I see it, is companies that companies, or let's say people like Kobe. And I'm saying it because he brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of know-how. He's done something in his world. I'm talking generally on people like Kobe, because there are several of them. Kobe is one, as you said. You cannot open LinkedIn without seeing Kobe, and either his picture or a video or his comment or a post about something. But so and when we met, when was it, Kobe? 3 years ago, something like that, 2.5 years ago. First time we've met. He was, I was looking at this guy and I was saying, okay, what can we do together? And I can tell you that I can only back what Dan was saying, is that he's taking us to places that we've never been. And it coming from his connection with the old school insurance company. And it's coming from the old school that you need to know them, because there is a certain limit of time where InsurTech, with all the innovation, can go without actually going into those very old, very tedious, the Swiss Re, and I'm talking reinsurance on purpose so nobody can sue me, the Swiss Re and the Munich Re of the world. If I will talk specifically of insurance company, it will be a joke, but just to give you the amount, and you need somebody that knows this business and very avid and very likes it. In a sense, I'm doing the same with my company, with our company. I'm talking mine. It's not mine, but I'm been there for ages. So for me, it's like mine.
It's been something, Gil.
Yeah, sorry. I'm the first sales guy in the company, so you have to forgive me for that. And we've been doing it 7 years, and everybody was telling us, yes, it's we can do it. Everything is we are doing it. What do you want? We don't have a problem. And then all of a sudden they see what we can do. Oh yes, eventually we do have a problem. So this is the environment that you're working, and it's going. And the good thing that I think for 2022, and going back to your question after I gave a monologue on that, is I see more maturity, and I think also COVID added to that companies are not looking at InsurTechs, even the insurance companies. It's like the banks are not looking at the fintechs as a competition, but more of an add-on, or they need to work together and they need to do business together. It's not an island. It's everybody here together in the market to make it happen, to make it more advanced. to supply better services in a quicker manner, and to simplify what you're doing in the business.
Yeah,
your business, which is insurance.
I definitely agree with the that collaboration piece, and we call it open innovation. So the partnering between incumbents and startups, we're seeing that as the key innovation pillar across our clients. Thank you for that. Dror, penultimate word. I'll go to you, Kobe, after, if that's okay. But Dror, from your side, 2022 Israeli InsurTech scene. Are we going to be seeing just more of the same, more good stuff, more Israeli companies set up, move to the States, world domination? What are we expecting?
I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself and some of my friends and peers. Some of them are on this call. I think from our perspective, like this year, we're planning to continue this amazing momentum we had in the last couple of years. Last year we tripled our business, both from a revenue perspective, customer headcount, money we've raised. We're planning to continue at least at the same momentum for this year. And we're already seeing a very good start for the year. Like January was good for us, and we're very excited for what's coming. And from what I hear from my friends and peers, I think this InsurTech trend is continuing and is not planned to, pause at any point. So we're going to see more and more of this interesting solutions getting to market.
Good stuff. Thanks, Dror. Kobe, final words with you. So the future, next 12 months for InsurTech Israel, but also for the local market, which I guess the two of you are inextricably linked. What can we expect from InsurTech Israel and the wider community over the next 12 months?
Yes, I think I'm seeing a great future, because now we start a great step forward to InsurTech 2.0. I think that time we end the first generation of InsurTech, focus on digitize the insurance process and take it even for better places. And now, when most of the insurance company did something to digitize themselves, and of course, parallel to that, we see a growth of a great B2C startups, but that act like an insurance or MGAs. Now, the second generation, InsurTech 2.0, will be based more on AI and taking the knowledge and to take the insurance industry a big step forward and fast, changing the products, changing the way that people buy the insurance and use insurance. A lot of great movement, and we see that changes happen here in Israel in real time now. So I think the future is very, very, let's say, big for us.
Lovely. Thank you, Kobe, and thank you to you all. I found that incredibly insightful. I'm sure those watching / listening are also going to share that with me. Kobe, thank you for organizing everybody today and making this happen. All of you, thanks a lot. Have good days, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
For assistance.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Bye-bye.